welcome back to Let's Play The Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve, where we will be continuing in the 5th case of the game, The Resolve of Ryunosuke Naruhodo, Trial Part 2. Alright, we're finally at this part. After so long, we can identify the true Reaper of the Bailey. I mean, we've had our suspicions about this fool for a long time, because he was just super sus. But it took a while for me to really be sure. But it feels so good to finally be able to be like, yes, we know it's you 100% now. And now we're finally gonna take you down. So it's exciting. And I don't actually know if this might be the last episode. I don't know how long this will take, or if there'll be like a long post-trial thing, and maybe I would have to have that in a separate episode. So hopefully I have enough for 2 episodes today, because this is supposed to be the Monday episode, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Alright. The true identity of the infamous Reaper of the Bailey is... you, male Strongheart.
Take that!
The only person who could have arranged the assassin exchange and manipulated the autopsy results is the Lord Chief Justice himself. I mean, there's been so much corruption and cover-ups and conspiracies going on leading up to this point that if he wasn't involved, that would have been like the most shocking twist of all, you know? His ignorance would have been astounding. Like, how are you innocent and not involved with everything bad happening around you? You know? Oh, that would be ridiculous, but yeah. Lord Male Strongheart. What? Lord Strongheart? I mean, come on, Kazuma. He has big bad vibes all over him. You know that, like, I've kind of been, like, doing this for a while longer than you now, because you were gone, and I have a little more experience under my belt now than you, and dealing with this kind of stuff, but, like, dude, just look at him. Yes, it's true that 10 years ago the defendant handled the prosecution of the professor in court. But he only took over the case after his brother, Lord Clint Van Zeeks, had been killed. Mm-hmm. I can only assume that this is the most inappropriate joke in British judicial history. Is he holding... like, I mean, I've looked at what he's holding, but I haven't really looked at it. Like, it's like, is that like a unicorn, or is it like a horse? But it looks like it has a horn, right? Because I will say, I know most of you probably haven't watched my other Let's Play that was going on at the same time and finished before, which was Dear Monster. But I have a thing with unicorns now because of a certain character in that game. And I was just telling my girlfriend Coco the other day, I was like, gosh, I hate how unicorns have been ruined for me, because I used to think unicorns were awesome. And now I decided that if I ever do get into like Dungeons and Dragons, like role playing, because I've been really into that lately, I think I might try to see if there's like a character I could create who's inspired by or designed to somewhat be reminiscent of a unicorn, and try to heal the wound that is in my soul because of that character. But just seeing him potentially holding a unicorn and having it associated yet again with an evil character, I'm just like, come on, man. Why you gotta do this? Why you do this to me? Are unicorns always evil? Well, Lord Venzeeks. 10 years ago, I was very new to my profession, but I had a burning desire to avenge my brother's death, so I pleaded for control of the case. Come on, Kazuma. The investigation to that point, the supplication of the lords to allow my brother's corpse to be examined, all the evidence I was given, the autopsy reports, it all came from you. I've spent my life since then believing I was in your debt for the way you stood aside and let me handle the trial. But I see now. I was very much mistaken. It was a hugely influential force that caused the inspector and the coroner to break the law 10 years ago. And that same force was still felt a decade later on the other side of the world by Seishiro Jigoku. Lord Strongheart, everything falls into place when we recognize that you are the Reaper of the Bailey. Leg, yes, bring the leg back. I think this is like the most appropriate time for it. But you better, at the end, I hope you use that leg and like kick him or trip him or something. I don't know. Like I want to see you put it to use the right way. The court awaits your response, my lord. This may very well go down in British judicial history, but I assure you, it is no joke. Consider this a formal accusal by the defense and the defendant. It doesn't warrant a response. A formal accusal? Don't be absurd. The defense's claims are utter nonsense. A wild fantasy at best. You're not going to defend yourself? You claim there was some wrongdoing with Lord Clint Van Zeeks' autopsy. That's utterly untrue.
Objection!
But I heard it from Gregson's own lips. He admitted to it.
And where is your evidence?
What?
Gregson's dead now, unless you were thinking of summoning a ghost to the stand.
And that's the point, right? He has slowly but surely been getting rid of all the people involved from back then who are a threat to him, who could possibly lead to this truth being revealed. But we still got enough, I think. We still got enough to take you down.
You mean to say... I forget how the system works in your little backwater country. But in the courts of the British Empire, without evidence there is no case. I have no intention of entertaining some wild fantasy that can't possibly be substantiated by anyone or anything.
He actually used his fist this time instead of his little fake gavel. Ugh. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's totally a unicorn, which is what I thought. But it didn't even enter my brain until now. I mean, of course, I was like, oh, he's not using a traditional gavel. But now I'm like, wait a minute, that's a unicorn. Oh. think I purposely was ignoring that fact until now. I kid you not, you guys, during that Let's Play, there was literally a moment where I had like a little breakdown, a little freak out because of that character. It was rough. Oh, my hatred was strong. Oh.
Order in court. Following Inspector Gregson's murder and in the light of Dr. Wilson's death as well, there's really no one left who could testify about the events of 10 years ago, is there?
That's what you wanted, you piece of garbage.
So that was the real purpose of the assassin exchange. Yes, look at my unicorn, which I could totally use to kill someone.
That is scary. Very, very scary.
This court has no business raking over the coals of a case that was concluded a decade ago. The accusal brought by the prosecution and the defense is categorically denied.
Shady.
I take it there are no objections.
Of course we're gonna object.
Kazuma, he's more or less waited his whole life for this moment. Is there really nothing else we can do now?
Can we pull the bunny ears right now? Because we need help. Sherlock, help us!
Is there no other avenue we can go down in pursuit of the truth about what happened all those years ago? If only there was someone who could testify about Clint Van Zieks' autopsy.
Oh, about the autopsy. The one who actually was there when it was written and probably wrote it. So yeah, there is someone. Duh. Ha! He didn't know, huh?
He's gone to extraordinary lengths to cover his tracks. Even so far as dispatching an assassin all the way to Japan to ensure Dr. Wilson's silence.
I mean, I'm surprised he didn't do his due diligence and find out, oh yeah, who else was in the room when it happened? Who else was involved at that time? Did he not think about Mikotoba at all? Damn, bro, that's a big miss right there.
And Dr. Scythe won't say anything against Strongheart. But there's still one ray of hope.
The true Watson.
Objection!
Man, Mikotoba's proving to be like a clutch character. Like, so pivotal. In the first game, he was like barely there.
Actually, there is one person. One person who could still testify about that autopsy.
Don't be ridiculous. There's no one left. I was super thorough. They're all dead.
No, you fool, no.
Who, Ryunosuke? Who? Tell me. Your surrogate father. Kazuma,
Please. This trial can't end. Not yet.
I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for the truth.
Oh, okay. Did you have to say it like that? But sure.
The person the defense would like to call to the stand to testify about the autopsy of Lord Clint Van Zieks is...
Eugene Mikotoba!
Take that!
Heaven help us. Another Japanese. Ugh, you people are like weeds. I should have killed all of you.
That's totally what he's thinking.
An expert in forensic medicine, my lord. Professor Eugene Mikotoba, 16 years ago. He came to London with Seishiro Jigoku and Genshin Asogi as a visiting student.
And what could his testimony possibly tell us?
Professor Mikotoba was the primary assistant during the autopsy in question. He was also the person who actually penned the report.
Incorrect. The autopsy was carried out by the coroner, Dr. Wilson. The report carries his signature.
It was the primary assistant's duty to keep a written record of the coroner's work during the procedure. In actual fact, the coroner merely read over the report at the end and signed it. Which still happens to this day, yes. In other words, Professor Mikotoba witnessed the entire autopsy from start to finish. The defense demands that Professor Mikotoba be summoned as a witness as a matter of urgency. Whatever really happened in that autopsy laboratory 10 years ago is something only he can tell us.
The defense's demand is denied.
You're gonna try to... Yeah, of course, you're gonna try to protect yourself, so... We need an unbiased judge. Get us the right one back.
What?
But Professor Mikotoba is in London at this very moment. We could summon him to the stand in minutes.
No, of course he's not going to agree to it. Strongheart has no intention of summoning anyone who knows. He's too concerned about protecting himself.
Prosecutor Asugi, let me refresh your memory, as you seem to have forgotten the prosecution's stance. Only minutes ago, you accused the defendant of being the Reaper and of masterminding the assassin exchange. I did, yes. So, present your evidence for those claims and make your case complete.
At this time, I don't have the requisite evidence. But that's exactly why we need witness testimony.
The professor case is closed. There are no clues in the distant past that will bolster your argument today. I'm afraid to say, Prosecutor Asogi, that you would appear to be possessed by the spirit of your late homicidal father.
Wow.
Now, as I stated earlier, this court has already reached a conclusion with respect to the matter at hand. Inspector Gregson was murdered by Japanese Supreme Court Judge Seishiro Jigoku. As for any hidden circumstances that may exist, they will be investigated in due course by the proper authorities.
Sure.
Objection!
You mean buried under a rug.
But we all know what will happen. That'll just give the mastermind of the whole venture time to cover his tracks again.
By which you mean me. Your punishment for this contemptible behavior will be decided at a later date. As for you, Prosecutor Asugi, you will be remanded following these proceedings. Willingly, I trust, since you gave your word.
Oh yeah, because of the whole almost would-be assassin thing.
This futile game of revenge is over, young Master Asugi.
Oh. Ooh, he's screaming. Kazuma, no!
That will be all. I hereby declare this trial to be over.
There you are. Did he say objection?
Mr. Holmes!
Had to have a dramatic entrance, of course.
This is no place for amateur detection, Mr. Holmes. May I remind you that these proceedings are closed to the general public. You will leave the courtroom at once.
Objection!
Mr. Holmes was instrumental in the apprehension of Seishiro Jigoku before he fled from Europe. The court should hear what he has to say.
Lord Mayor Strongheart, it's imperative that you refrain from bringing this trial to an end at this stage. Is it really? And why would that be?
You need only recall your own words from the opening of the trial to answer that question, if I may.
We will stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. Surely it can't be that the shock of being accused of being the Reaper yourself has erased that from your memory, can it? The whole truth, sir, has already been uncovered. It would seem that we have a great many important members of the judiciary present here today. I put it to you, my dear fellows, should the trial end at this juncture?
Ah, smart.
After all, why have you been invited to attend? To nod along to the prevarications of your superiors?
They're all like, this is shady as hell. Randomly in a southern accent.
Order. Order in court. It seems to me that we stand before a door that leads to a new era of legal practices. A door that is ajar. Let us emerge from the shadows of the Reaper's decade-long ascendancy. For you and you alone, my dear fellows, have the power to push this door open now. The auditors in the gallery have no rights to express an opinion on court proceedings. Silence. He's right. The judge has absolute authority here. Yes, if he calls the trial to an end, it must end. But would that really do? I sense dark things occurring behind the scenes. Dark things indeed. Is there a single person here present who can honestly say blah blah blah?
Went too fast.
Who can honestly say he doesn't sense the same?
Alright.
What's... The trial should go on. Summon the witness. That's right. We need to clear this up before that young Japanese fellow is remanded into custody.
Aw, Kazuma. You're so cute. Damn it, I can't stand how cute he is. Ah!
My lord, you assured those present that you would uncover the whole truth here. Vindicate yourself of this outlandish accusation. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. That's the very foundation of British law. A toast to my dependable colleagues in the gallery. On with the trial. Testify. Testify.
Nice.
Well, my lord, you hear the voice of British justice, I take it. I think you'll find it will be rather awkward to silence.
Oh, nothing like peer pressure.
The court will recess briefly. I have no intention of shrinking from these allegations. Bailiff, arrange for the subpoena of the witness at once. As soon as the gentleman arrives at the courthouse, we shall reconvene.
A recess won't be necessary, my lord.
Pardon?
Mikotoba is a close friend of mine. He accompanied me today and is waiting in the antechamber as we speak. I do believe he's been enjoying a little trip down memory lane, in fact.
What? Professor Mikotoba is here in the courthouse.
Mr. Holmes, you didn't know this would happen, did you?
My dear fellow, no one is in a better position to answer that question than you, surely.
I wasn't just asking for the fun of it, you know.
Well, I must thank you for your assistance in this matter, Mr. Holmes. However, you are of no further use here. Kindly leave the courtroom at once.
But of course, in truth, I find myself rather busy now as a result of these developments. Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes.
I trust you have Iris's little lucky charm with you? Oh, okay. Bunny ears, yeah. So we might still need it then.
Absolutely. It's still in my pocket.
She sends her regards and a reminder. If you find yourself at a dead end, the ears are at your disposal. Just one tug, if you please.
Oh, of course.
In that case, the trial will continue without delay. Bailiff, show the witness to the stand.
So it's Lord Strongheart. He's the Reaper of the Bailey. Where exactly is this trial going to take me, I wonder? Just how deep am I about to be plunged into the blackness of the abyss? Well, I'm ready. I'm ready to head into the heart of this maelstrom and confront whatever horrors it tries to drown me under.
To be continued? Yeah. In the good old days, I would have ended it right here. It would have been perfect. But I like to have my episodes long for this LP because, we're almost at the end. So let's keep going. Oh, that's a strange sight. Why is she staring at him like that? I'm so sorry, Mikotoba, that you have to stand next to this crazy lady. This crazy girl.
So, witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. Eugene Mikotoba, lecturer in forensic medicine at the Imperial Yume University in Tokyo, Japan.
Oh no! Save him! First it was Ryunosuke and now Mikotoba who are in danger.
And Professor Mikotoba, the young lady beside you is... This is Dr. Maria Gori, Scotland Yard's practicing coroner. The daughter of Dr. Scythe, I understand.
Yes, Dr. Scythe.
I'm afraid I can't tell you why she's here. She just appeared.
Oh no! Oh, she's so scary! Stop! Stop! Sherlock, come save your partner. I'm worried. I was not expecting this. It was very serious and now it's like, Oh gosh, I gave her like a super high-pitched voice too, didn't I? Oh jeez.
You summon this strange Japanese man as a witness to that autopsy. But you don't summon Mama. That makes no sense. She was there too.
Why is she allowed to have those weapons inside the courthouse? I mean, then again, we have swords and stuff, so... But still! She's dangerous! Take those away!
That's about the size of it. I've had her eyes boring into the side of my cheek constantly, whilst I was in the antechamber too. Poor man, the idea of it's making me shudder. The revelations about Dr. Scythe that came to light some days ago defiled the reputation of the entire judiciary. She was therefore deemed unfit to appear as a witness in today's proceedings. The Ministry of Justice's decision on that is final.
Well, we wouldn't want any more perjury to be committed, would we?
The Ministry of Justice? Some questionable strings are being pulled, I think.
I remember you, Dr. Mikotoba. But I certainly never expected to be meeting you under these circumstances. Yes, it's been a long while, Lord Strongheart.
This music is different. Damn, how many songs did they make for this game? I don't remember this song. The prosecution understands that you were a visiting student of forensic science in London until 10 years ago.
That's right. I studied under Dr. Wilson at St. Signers.
I prefer saying signers rather than sinners. Even though it's probably meant to be sinners. Just because saying sinner feels weird for a hospital. I don't know.
So, you were present at the autopsy of my brother, Lord Clint von Zix. I was, yes. I assisted Dr. Wilson with the entire procedure.
Actually, I do recognize this song now, I think. Maybe? I think it's been played maybe once before? In like a really serious moment? I don't remember.
Mama is far more skilled than any Japanese man.
Girl, shut up.
Well, Dr. Wilson asked me to be his primary assistant on that occasion.
And this autopsy report was actually penned by you, I believe.
Yes, I noted all of the doctor's findings, and when we were done, he read through the document and signed it.
Poor Mama. As a secondary assistant, she wouldn't have had such a good view of all the innards.
So, Professor, do you remember Inspector Gregson?
Yes, of course. If it wasn't for his insistence, Lord Van Ziek's autopsy would never have happened. But he was absolutely convinced that it would reveal decisive evidence against Genshin, you see. So Lord Strongheart had to entreat the nobility to allow it to take place. Do correct me if I'm wrong, my lord. It was as a result of that autopsy that a mass murderer was apprehended and justice was done.
But Gregson admitted it before he was killed. He admitted that the results of the autopsy were fabricated. You were there at the time, so you must testify. You have an obligation to tell the truth about what really went on.
Absolutely. That's precisely why I'm here.
And that's why I'm here too.
Very well then. You will give your formal testimony now, witness. But before you begin, a word of warning. Oh? You will state truthfully and accurately what you saw and what you heard at the time. I wouldn't dream of doing otherwise, my lord. The moment your testimony verges on supposition, I will expel you from my courtroom.
Yikes. He is scared of him. That's why he's doing that.
Remember that.
We gotta be careful with pressing then. Because we don't want to lead him to accidentally slip up and say something wrong. The autopsy of Clint Van Zieks.
From my own observations, I couldn't say there was any indication of the autopsy results having been fabricated.
Oh, he's gonna be happy to hear that.
Death resulted from a wound made by a Western-style sword, transfixing the heart. That I found a little strange.
That it was a Western-style sword? I don't know.
There were no other signs of internal injury. Nothing questionable at all. It was just that beautiful but dangerous piece of evidence removed from the man's stomach.
Okay. Something in the stomach. Which means, what, it got put in there when he got stabbed? But he got stabbed in the heart. Oh. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. That's what I was gonna say. It has to be something he ate or... Yeah. Presumed to have been swallowed by the victim as a way of posthumously identifying his assailant. Kind of a weird thing to do, because why would he do that? It's like, if they didn't believe in autopsies, he wouldn't have done that. It makes more sense if he had grabbed it and held it in his hand or put it in his pocket, not swallowed it. No, that doesn't make any sense at all. That's so stupid. I can't believe y'all said, oh yeah, that makes sense. No. No indication. Nothing to suggest fabrication? Professor Mikotoba, are you certain about that?
Well, nothing that I could positively identify as such, much less swear to in testimony.
Ugh.
Well, that clears things up nicely.
Oh, that's new for him. He looks so weird. That looks weird.
The only fabrication here, Asugi, has come from you.
What?
You claim the inspector confessed just before his death, but that is the fabrication.
No. He freely acknowledged it. I swear he did.
Freely, with the tip of a sword at his throat. The man was clearly at his wit's end. The court will give no credence to this confession that was uttered in obvious desperation. Quite simply, there was nothing questionable about the investigation of Lord Clint Van Zieks' death.
No, y'all are dumb. I can't believe y'all believed that him swallowing something was him trying to give away who did it. Fools. Ugh. And come on, just the fact that someone was so adamant, yeah, we have to perform an autopsy, and then we'll definitely find proof of who the murderer is for that, and that it has to be Genshin Asogi. Like, come on. Come on. Like the lack of common sense. I love it. I hate it and love it at the same time. Ooh, I can't wait. I can't wait. We're gonna get him. Oh, it astounds me.
And with this testimony we have, without question, uncovered the whole truth of the matter. If I may, my lord, there was most certainly something questionable about it, and the whole truth does rather elude us, I feel. I beg your pardon? Well, you're obviously aware of the facts of the case. All 4 of the professor's previous victims died when an enormous beast was set upon them that ripped out their throats.
Yeah. The difference in a modus operandi is huge.
Oh, such horrifying crimes.
But curiously, the killer's last victim, Lord Clint Van Zeek, suffered a different fate.
Yes, you're right. He was stabbed through the heart with a sword.
That's enough. I believe I warned you about this, witness. I promised to curtail your testimony as soon as it entered the realms of supposition or speculation.
Huh. Very well, my lord. In that case, the defense will pursue a conclusion to this during the cross-examination.
What?
I have the right to cross-examine every witness after testimony.
Get him.
And I fully intend to exercise that right.
Ryunosuke.
I'm afraid that even the presiding judge has no authority to contravene the letter of the law. As I'm sure every member of the judiciary present in the gallery would agree.
Huh.
She's just staring at him still. Stop it, little girl. Stop.
Very well. You may begin, counsel. However, the moment your argument strays from the established facts, I will not hesitate to bring the cross-examination to an end. Proceed with caution.
Yes, my lord.
Yeah. I'm not scared of you, jerk. Alright. It might be on Gory, actually. I don't think it was anything Mikotoba said. Yeah, we don't want to press because we don't want to risk him. Nothing questionable at all. I kind of want to press her. But I'm scared to press, I should say. I'd rather press her than him, though.
Hold it!
But, you weren't actually present at the autopsy yourself, were you, Dr. Gory?
Does that matter?
Well, I just wonder how useful your testimony can be in that case, really. I mean, it would be different if your mother, Dr. Scythe, were in the stand, but...
I've read all the paperwork about the case, and Mama's told me the story countless times.
That... Okay, I think, what's the term they use for that? Hearsay or something? Like, I don't think you're allowed to testify on someone else's behalf like that nowadays. I think that's the term. Cause they're like, you know, we won't know for sure. You're saying what somebody else said, but that's the kind of the hard thing about witness testimony. It could always come down to he said, she said, right? Without actual evidence when it comes to spoken word, unless you have like an actual recording or something written down, it's always really hard. I find the law in like courtroom dramas and stuff to be really fascinating, but also so stressful. When I think about reality, I'm like, oh yeah, I could never be a lawyer. Never.
The statement I just made is exactly what's written in the autopsy report.
I did confirm that myself at the time, it's true. Besides a stab wound, there were no other signs of internal trauma.
I see.
Mama told me all about it.
Oh?
She said there was nothing of note internally. But they did find an amazing piece of evidence. Something unbelievable.
Unbelievable. What do you mean? Come on, Dr. Gory, what was it? Beautiful but dangerous. Alright. I guess we have to press here because we don't have evidence, so. What exactly was it, though? What does beautiful but dangerous mean? A knife or something? Can't be. That's too big. Something he could swallow.
Well, it was sparkly and round with a hole, as if it might slip over a finger, perhaps.
Like a ring? Yeah. That was a weird way of saying it, ma'am.
It was a ring belonging to Genshin'S.
My father's ring was inside the victim's stomach? That's just weird. No, no, no.
At the time, Genshin wore a large ring on the digitus quartus of his left hand, the fourth or ring finger.
His wedding ring, then? I don't know.
I'd understood it was some sort of keepsake.
When my father left Japan for London 16 years ago, I was 8 years old. But I remember that ring.
You do?
My father's possessions were sent to our family home in Japan after his death, but the ring wasn't among them.
Obviously not. It was a key piece of evidence. It remains under lock and key in the stores at Scotland Yard to this day. After the autopsy, Genshin was summoned by the police to check for the presence of his ring. It wasn't on his hand, of course. Moreover, there were deep abrasions on his finger where it had been pulled off.
Yikes. Okay, that doesn't look good. So they definitely struggled. But why would he have swallowed it? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
They arrested the man there and then, right before my eyes.
How could they?
I brought the ring along with me today.
What? Oh, that's the ring? Damn, swallowing that would hurt like hell. It's a weird looking ring.
Here it is. A bit dusty from years in the stores.
Good gracious, yes, that's it. I haven't seen that in 10 long years.
And that was found inside the victim's stomach?
Yes, I'm afraid so.
You hesitated there, Professor Mikotoba. Should we read something into that?
Well, it's just that thinking back now. I didn't actually witness the moment it was extracted from the victim's body.
Oh, why not? What happened? Was there a distraction, a convenient one?
Oh my, really?
Not that.
That feels shady. That feels super shady. So Wilson was definitely in on it.
At that precise moment, Dr. Wilson had asked me to fetch him a new scalpel, you see. Dr. Gory, the removal of historic evidence from the stores requires my consent, does it not?
However it came to be here, the court cannot deny that this is crucial evidence for today's proceedings.
Very well, you may submit it.
A ring belonging to Genshin Asogi found in Lord Clinfan Zeke's stomach during the autopsy. See? This is what I'm saying. They said there were no other internal injuries, right? But to swallow something like this with those sharp edges, there's no way. Especially if he swallowed it without water or anything. The claws clasping the gem look sharp enough to cause a very nasty scratch. There's no way he would have been able to swallow that and not have some damage. No. No. That's proof right there. We got it.
It's not the sort of ring normally seen in Japan.
No. That's true, right? It doesn't look very Japanese style. It looks more, I guess, European. Very strange. Who gave him that ring? I don't think that's definitely not his wedding ring then. But I don't know. It's weird because Kazuma said that he already knew about it. Strange.
They almost look like claws protecting that jewel.
We must examine it very carefully, Mr. Nedahodo. Very carefully indeed.
Alright, let's look at it right now then.
These fat claws are doing a good job of protecting the equally fat gemstone in the middle of this ring.
Yes, if you were clumsy, you could give yourself a rather nasty cut on them, I should think.
I would never want a ring like that. I like simple jewelry. Anything too big or clunky or heavy I don't like. I don't wear a lot of jewelry anyway. But anything that would scratch me or leave marks or stuff, like, no. No thank you.
Ow! Now my finger is bleeding. The claws really are sharp. Oof.
Oh my, that was very quick clumsiness, Mr. Nedahodo. Even for you.
Who would make such a dangerous ring? You couldn't swallow it without doing yourself some fairly serious damage, surely.
A sticky mochi bun of about that size would go down much better, with some red bean paste in the middle.
Someone as clumsy as me would probably manage to choke on it somehow.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything else. We're just gonna focus on the fact that it's like, there's no way you could swallow this without getting hurt. Okay. Huh. Okay. Presumed to have been swallowed. I really want to put it on here, but I think we have to go back to what she said about the no internal damage, right? Yeah, no internal injury. No way. No way, no how. Not with that ring.
Objection!
There we go.
The court has heard that the ring was extracted from the victim's stomach. But you didn't actually see it being removed, did you, Professor Mikotoba?
That's right, as I said in my testimony before. At that moment I was fetching a replacement scalpel that Dr. Wilson had requested.
In other words, you can neither confirm nor deny whether this ring, in fact, really came from the victim's stomach or not.
What are you suggesting, Counsel?
That the ring was never in the victim's stomach to begin with. It's entirely feasible that Dr. Wilson fabricated that detail about the autopsy.
What are you saying? The Dr. Wilson?
Dr. Wilson was in possession of that ring in advance, after it was somehow stolen from Mr. Asogi. And he produced it during the procedure, pretending to have found it there and then in the victim's stomach.
Objection!
Supposition at best. What possible evidence do you have to support such a rash claim? Yeah, he's gonna be a little defensive about that. Normally he'll be like an agreement with what we're saying. But because this is a touchy subject of back then and what the case that he prosecuted, of course he's gonna be like, no, you have to have proof, no.
This evidence right here.
That's the autopsy report? Oh, I guess we could have presented either? Okay.
It's explicit in that report, Counsel. Other than the ring, nothing unusual was noted internally. So I'm not sure how you intend to prove your point.
You've already done it for me, my lord. The lack of internal injury says it all.
What?
To swallow a ring of this size would require considerable effort and determination. And in addition to its size, there are the sharp claws around the gemstone to contend with.
My brother was a determined man, and on the brink of death even more so, I'm sure. He would have stopped at nothing to ensure that the evil killer was brought to justice.
But if he really had swallowed that enormous ring, it's inconceivable that no traces of its passage down his throat would have remained as internal trauma.
No! And there you've arrived at the sticking point. That's precisely why I had my doubts about the findings myself 10 years ago.
Then why didn't you say something at the time?
I did, but I still remember the conversation I had with Dr. Wilson in the laboratory that day.
Oh, I gotta voice Wilson. Look at this! Now this is a very curious thing to find in a man's stomach, wouldn't you say?
But isn't that rather peculiar, Dr. Wilson?
What's that now, Mikotoba?
Well, if he swallowed a ring of that size, with those sharp metal claws that it has, surely you'd expect to see damage to the throat and esophagus, torn mucous membranes at the very least.
Dr. Mikotoba, may I remind you that I have vastly more experience than you.
I'm terribly sorry.
Mm-hmm. Pulling the old, I'm your boss, I have more experience than you, so shut up card.
I can think of plenty of ways to explain why no injuries would be seen. No, let's say this. The victim would appear to have ingested the item as evidence to identify his assailant.
Go ahead, write it down. Oh, you shady man.
So I was right.
Dr. Wilson deliberately fabricated the results of the autopsy to implicate my father.
I'm disappointed, Counsel. That argument is nothing more than speculation.
What?
Dr. Wilson.
Oh, wrong voice. I'm getting confused.
Dr. Wilson was Britain's leading authority on forensic science and autopsy work. There is no scientific basis on which to doubt the man's expert opinion. Pardon the interruption, my lord, but damage to the mucous membranes of the throat is easily identified, even in living subjects.
Using a device called an endoscope recently demonstrated in practical use in France. I want one. The government can pay.
I don't think so. And Dr. Gory, rest assured that your removal of evidence from the stores without permission will not go unpunished.
You open up the dead to find the truth.
I beg your pardon.
You go, girl.
But Mama, she chose to stitch her corpses up with all her secrets inside. That's wrong.
Dr. Gory, it's looking as though she's chosen to walk a different path to her mama.
Yes, the ring.
And I think we will leave this episode right here. Kind of a strange spot, but I kind of like, well, it feels like a little breaking point now that we're kind of done with that testimony. Yeah, I don't know. Looks like we still got a ways to go. I thought we might be finished soon, but I guess not. Should have known better, Binks. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this, and until next time, have a nice day. Bye-bye.